I've noticed an uptick recently in the amount of comments below these videos from vinyl snobs. You know, those people who will jump in on any discussion of digital DJing, especially when it centres around technical issues, reminding us all just how carefree and cool they are because they only play vinyl. Well, of course, I'm having none of that. Of my favourite DJs in the world, only one of them plays vinyl exclusively, DJ Coco from Japan. Danny Tenaglia uses Tractor, Sasha plays off USBs, and Jazzy Jeff and Scratch Bastard will usually spin with Serato, but they also sometimes play 45s. The legend Carl Cox has begun spinning some vinyl sets again recently on the Prodigy's latest tour, but he still mostly plays off USBs. My point is that playing vinyl doesn't make you a better DJ than someone who doesn't. It's just another format, no more valid than any other. However, I do also love to play vinyl sets, mostly on 45s for reasons I've outlined in other videos before, although lately I have started to play more 12 inches again, which neither my back nor my wallet are thankful for. Spinning vinyl may not be better or worse than playing digital music, but it is definitely a lot of fun, and I love to combine both in my DJ life. The 45 scene in particular seems to be in rude health at the moment, partly thanks to the 7-inch only Reloop RP-7 turntables which launched last year, and as I understand it, Reloop still can't manufacture those fast enough to keep up with demand. So as it's been a while since we talked about wax here on the channel, in this episode I'm going to talk about some accessories for vinyl DJs, mostly for 45s, some RP-7 specific, and there's one which is useful for all types of DJ, vinyl or digital. We'll begin with the product which inspired me to make this video in the first place, the Delta 7 45 adapters from DJ Nabe in Japan. It's always a treat to see real innovation coming from small creators like this, and I will always try and support that. They dropped a little over a year ago and since then have developed something of a cult following amongst 45 heads. How to describe them? Well, they're shaped kind of like a regular cone type adapter, but the outer material is flexible, and thanks to the design with the splits in there, this means they expand to fill out and fit any large hole 45, whether that is slightly undersized or oversized. It basically clamps the record to the adapter from the inside. I was concerned they might not work with Dr. Suzuki Donuts, my 7-inch slip mats of choice, but they're great on both those and regular mats alike. The central portion is made of stainless steel, which adds some weight and ensures durability, as well as a precise contact point with the spindle. In fact, and this is why I have two pairs, that contact point was initially a touch too precise. It worked fine on decks like 1200s, but was ever so slightly tight on handpin made tables like Stanton 150s, Pioneer 1000s, and crucially, reloops, including the RP-7s. That meant they would sometimes bind on the spindle. However, Nabe is now making version 2, the ones with the triangle, not circular cutouts, which have a diameter 0.2mm bigger for the spindle hole, and those will work with all DJ turntables. I was quite cynical about these at first. I love big heavy stainless steel or brass adapters and the SID Def Jam ones. I still carry some SID Def Jams both for backup and to use as weights on small hole records, as the Delta 7s aren't heavy enough to fill that role too. But now they've become my go-to adapters for all of my large hole 45s. It's a really clever idea, well executed, and I can't recommend them enough. DJ Nabe sells the adapters via their Instagram in pairs for around 9,000 yen with shipping, which is about $60 in the US, and I think that's a bargain. Oh, and you can choose from a plethora of different colours too, some of which glow under blacklight. Even if you currently have adapters you love, if you play 45s, you need to give these a try. Keeping it 45, there are a couple of bags I'd like to draw your attention to. First up, the 45 Pro bag from Jetpack, designed in collaboration with the Beat Junkies. I saw this at NAMM this year and was immediately impressed. The Beat Junkies guys, as well as being legendary turntablists, also all have a lot of love for 45s, and you can tell this bag has been designed by DJs who actually carry and spin 7-inch vinyl. It's a good size, holding between 150 and 200 records, depending on how you lay it out. It comes with a few dividers, which is a really handy tool. touch. Its internal frame is reinforced so it doesn't feel like it's going to collapse when it's empty, and you have a degree of protection for your precious cargo. One note on the size: Jetpack reckon it'll be okay as hand luggage on planes, but I suspect it might be pushing the limits of carry-on slightly on some budget European carriers, so check before you fly. One thing it's not short of is extra storage. There's a small pocket on the top for something like a passport, one on each end, which is where I keep my adapters, and a larger one on the front, which includes elasticated storage inside. That front pocket leads me to my only real criticism: it zips right off for reasons I cannot discern, and I worry that in a dark club, stuff might fall out of the sides of that when you're loading it up. I came close to that happening in testing. The place where the bag really shines is when it comes to carrying options though. There's a comfortable top handle and shoulder strap, plus a strap to attach it to a trolley. There's also a pair of small handles on the sides so you can lift and move the bag when it's open. I love that. But best of all, and I don't think I've seen this on a 45 bag before, tucked into the base are a pair of additional straps which allow you to turn the 45 Pro into a backpack. A really great option for city travel when your hands or shoulders get tired. There's some kind of error on the Jetpack site at the time of editing this video. The 45 Pro page is down, but as far as I recall, the bag costs $325 in the US, which is a lot, but frankly, that's kind of what bags cost these days. I think it's good value for what you get. Jetpack also throw in a flexible USB light and power bank with it, so you can see what you're doing as you dig in the dark. Overall, the 45 Pro is a solid addition to my list of recommended 45 bags. As is this one, although this is kind of niche. It's the Riot 45 trolley from Magma. It was actually first available years ago and I slept on it back then, but I did some gigs with my friend Smooth. His edits are on Beatport exclusively, by the way, check them out, and he was using one. I was very envious of its massive capacity. It holds around 280 records, which is nearly twice what a typical 45 shoulder bag can handle. I'm a DJ who usually plays open to close, with most of my sets being 4 to 5 hours, so that really appealed to me. But the trolley was gone, discontinued for a few years. Thankfully, after much complaining about that from myself and a few other 45 DJs, Magma decided to bring it back in 2025 and I finally copped one. The design is pretty ingenious. It has this stiff-sided section in the middle which pulls out of the main body, so you can have all of your records in the booth without the trolley itself taking up massive amounts of real estate. There's other storage too, space for carts and headphones above the insert, and a massive pocket on the front. My only criticism here is that this is a straight reissue. It was originally part of Magma's Riot line of bags and cases. Those were very good at the time, but Magma have moved on slightly with much of their range now, and I'd say the newer Solid Blaze line is superior in terms of materials and design. The Solid Blaze trolley handle is better than the Riot one, for example, as are the wheels. But the Riot 45 trolley still does its job perfectly well, and I found it incredibly useful for marathon sets. And let's be real, it is, as I said, rather niche, appealing to a subset of a subset of a subset of DJs, 45 heads who need to carry a frankly crazy amount of records in one receptacle. So it may simply be that there isn't enough demand to justify Magma coming up with a new design, and I remain grateful they brought it back as is. Like the Jetpack bag, this one will set you back around $300 in the US. A couple of things specifically for RP-7 users now. When I reviewed the RP-7, I also reviewed Reloop's own case for it. It's a good case, full flight style with a low profile base and a slot in the back to show off what you're playing. But for such a compact and light turntable, I found the case to be rather unwieldy, larger and heavier than it needed to be. More cases have come out for it since, and I really like the look of these ones from Odyssey which I saw at NAMM, so I bought a pair of them back with me to test. They're from the company's KROM line, which consists of what we always used to call either Pro style or Euro style cases back in the day. The aluminium construction may not be as bomb-proof as regular ATA style flight cases, but they're still plenty solid enough to protect your tables, and they are much, much lighter, which for me is just a better fit for the RP-7s. You have firm EVA foam padding to keep the RP-7s in place, and it's a good fit. The lid is removable and contains more foam to keep the platter in place, as you'd expect. There are rubber feet on two faces for vertical or horizontal storage, and it has proper latches which you can add padlocks to. There's even a pair of D-rings on the sides so you can carry them with the supplied shoulder strap. They offer them in a wide assortment of colours to match your setup too. Thanks to the space at the rear when using them battle style, you can use the RP-7s in the cases if you like, although I usually take them out myself. Overall, at around $150 each, these offer no surprises, but they do a great job, and they are definitely my preference when taking the RP-7s out and about. Odyssey is a brand I struggle to cover very often, as they don't really have good distribution here in the UK, but when I do get my hands on their stuff, I'm always impressed. When I have the RP-7s at home or in the studio, I don't want cases, I want covers. They don't come supplied with any as standard, so I thought I'd check out the two options, Reloop's own and the new one from Decksaver, which has just been released. Both should have a street price of around $70 each in the US, so this is a real head-to-head. The Reloop cover is more angular, more like a Technics one, where the Decksaver is more rounded in their usual style. The Reloop has a darker, smoked look, whereas the Decksaver is fully clear, and they both fit the RP-7 equally well, as you would hope. For me, there was one big question. Have Reloop used a similar kind of polymer to Decksaver, which I know from experience is virtually unbreakable? It didn't have quite the same feel to the touch, so I tested it the best way I could think of, by jumping up and down on it. Now, I don't weigh what I did when I first reviewed Decksavers about a decade ago, but I'm still a fully grown adult man, and as you can see, I was able to jump and stomp on both of these as much as I liked. Neither showed any sign of damage. So this one is gonna be very much a personal taste thing. Just get the cover you prefer the look of, unless one is significantly cheaper in your territory. You won't go wrong with either, and I recommend them both. The final product I want to discuss is the new Mark II version of the Howler recorder. I reviewed the first version last year and truly I loved it. Since then it's been my go-to suggestion to any friend who asks me what they should buy to record their sets, especially those who play vinyl or otherwise DJ without a laptop. The beauty of the Howler is that it integrates into any setup, analog or digital. It records WAV or MP3 directly to an SD card and has a pass-through, so you don't generally need to sacrifice an output to use it. The battery life is excellent, recording quality is great, and it just works. The new Mark II is an upgrade, but there's not enough here to either justify a dedicated new review video or to suggest Mark I users trade up to the new one, unless you really need to record and stream simultaneously, which is the biggest change. A cool change, but not something that interests me. The other upgrades, it's a little more compact in terms of height, although the Mark I was already pocket size. They've redesigned the power button so it would be much harder to turn off accidentally, and this is my favourite upgrade, you can now set up automatic date and time stamping for recording files. It was sometimes hard to work out what was recorded when before. I was already such a fan of the Mark I Howler that it's hard for me to really recommend the new Mark II version any harder, but rest assured if you go and watch my main review video now, then buy one today, you'll be getting a version which is even better than the one I gushed over then for basically the same price. Whether you need to record vinyl sets, sets from USBs, laptop sets when you're including streaming tracks, or just a bunch of DJs all using different formats, the Howler Mark II will do the job for you very, very well indeed. So there you go, a look at some vinyl accessories which I've been digging recently. In the comments I'd love to hear your takes on all of those bits, and I'd also be interested to hear from RP-7 owners. They've now been around for a while, so I'm sure lots of you will have some long-term feedback to pass on to the rest of us. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Beatport Tech. If you liked it, be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss any future videos. And hey, if you haven't already, you can try Beatport streaming for free and join DJcity for just $10. All the links are down in the description. I'll see you next time!